Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday live stream. I'm Jesse Showalter, and we have some people already hanging out in the chat, which is super duper cool. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. If you are here in the chat, let me know where you're coming from. Let me know what your Friday plans are. Mine include some pool time, hanging out with the family, and having a little bit of barbecue. That's my weekend plans. That's about all that I have in store for the weekend. Hey, hit me up with an emoji to let me know what yours are. So if I was going to put mine there, it'd be like a little pool or a little swimmer. And maybe like a little steak or something, and like maybe a little sleepy bed. That would be mine. I'm so glad you guys are here because today we are creating templates. We are discussing how to use Notion as a second brain. Rafael says, hey there from New York. Abernell's here. We have Cyril is here from Malaysia. Hello, everybody. We're going to be making some Notion templates. I use Notion for everything. This is not a sponsored live stream. I'm just a fanboy. I discovered Notion like 3 years ago, and I just started using it as a note-taking platform. I was like, I'm all done with like Apple Notes and something. I need one place to keep my notes. And then they started continuing to build out the program so that it's no longer just a note-taking platform, but it's kind of an everything platform. It is a project management platform, a note-taking platform, a systems and processes platform. It is a habit tracker, a goal tracking platform. It is a content creation calendar platform. It is all of the things. I manage my finances, my journal, my YouTube, my business, my Christmas shopping is done inside of Notion. So I figured it'd be kind of fun because I was on a podcast the other day, and the person interviewing me asked me, what is the most important design tool you use right now? Like the design tool you couldn't live without. And without even thinking about it, Notion popped out of my mouth, which is interesting because it's not a design tool, but it does help me do everything that I do as a designer. So as well as like life and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be building these templates today. I'll just give you a quick little insight here. We're going to be building templates like this dashboard set up with all these tasks separated by what I need to do and when I need to do them. And we have like, I have a system that I call fields and silos. I'll show you how to do that. I have a quick notes section and goals. I have like daily and weekly habits. I have a YouTube dashboard, like content dashboard section where I can see all of my content that's coming up. I have my agency or my freelancing dashboard with my team and my projects and my to-dos. I have my finances and my taxes and all that kind of stuff. Everything is controlled here inside of Notion. What's up to Namita? What's up to Imran and P and Fish in Tokyo? What's up to my friends in Tokyo? Man, I do everything inside of Notion, and I wanted to make it available to you today. But hey, if you are interested, if you want maybe to find, or like to use these Notion templates without having to sit here and build the whole thing, I do actually sell some of these templates online. You can go to learn.jesseshowalter.com. The link is pinned in the chat here. You can just pick these up. Right now, I put a code up there so you get 50% off. They're only like $7 or $8 and you get 50% off if you just want to have them right out of the box and start using them. But this is what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. This freelance dashboard, this productivity dashboard, and how I use it to run my entire life. All right. So with that being said, we are going to continue on and start getting some stuff done. All right. So let's talk about the foundation. The foundation. I need a sip of coffee. That's what I need. All right. The foundation of everything you will do inside of Notion. Okay. And the way that I've set this up, and let me get myself out of the way here, is not this really cool dashboard with the top image and the habits and all the goals and the tasks and everything. Not the freelance dashboard, not the YouTube dashboard. But would you believe it if I said all of these things are connected in one brain, in one singular place where all of these items are stored, and then I'm just aggregating and shooting the content around wherever I want. So here's what you're going to figure out. To use Notion as a second brain, it itself has to be a brain. It has to have its own central thought system. And then from there, you can send a thought out into a certain area. A thought goes to my arm to make it do this. A thought goes to my eyes to make my eyes blink. That's what my brain does. That's what I want Notion to do for me. I want it to house everything here. And because it's so smart, I want it to aggregate and send those signals and messages and data and information to where I need it to be so that my brain can start compartmentalizing. If I want to pick up this coffee, I'm not thinking about my taxes. I'm just thinking about the hand that picks up the coffee. That's what I need Notion to do. I need it to house everything, but when I want to think about my YouTube content, I only want to see that YouTube content. And so what you're going to see is this master brain, and then you're going to find linked databases, aggregation of data, okay? And then what you're going to find is filtering, then you're going to find sorting, and what covers this whole thing is this system that I've created called fields, silos, and tasks. Here we go. All right, we got some people in the chat doing some weird stuff, so we're going to be blocking some people in the chat because that's what we do to keep our chat safe and fun, and these live streams a good time. All right, so with that being said, let's dive into our Notion dashboard. Okay, now here's what we want to do. Again, it's not all these things we want to do. We want to start off with this really basic task list. Ugh, is this thing ugly? Let me push these things out of the way to the side so you can see. Look at this horrendous database. That's all it is. A disgusting, horrendous database that has tasks in it, right? That has the name of the task and a silo and the schedule. There are so many properties that could be in this task list. I'm only showing some of them, okay? If I just, and I'm filtering these to things that need to be done, things that have already been done, and then we just have everything. Are you ready for this? This is my second brain. This is the master dump of information. This is how I run my life. And you might be asking yourself, dear God, like if you run your life like this, it looks like a hot mess, but it's not, because this is just where all the brain processing power is happening inside of this master list. Anything that I have a thought about, anything that I want to get done, anything that I think for the future is a goal or a habit or something that needs to happen, I'm going to put it inside of this master task list, my second brain that will do all the brain processing power, okay? And it seems like a big mess, but here's what you'll find is for every single thing you put inside of this master task list, it will have a set of properties associated with it. Each one of these, and I'll open it up so you can see. Let's open this task, which is currently the filming a live stream of Notion as a second brain. This is the thing we're doing right now. This is on my task list. Let's open it up and you'll see the plethora of properties that are now assigned to any possible task that could be put into this brain. You might be asking, where do these properties come from, Jesse? Well, the properties come from my needs as the needs arise. Okay, so if later on I'm going, hey, sometimes I'm doing like YouTube videos and I need to know whether or not it is a live stream or it is a talking head video or a sponsored video or a clip or a vlog. And so I just create a property that houses that thought process. Does this make sense to you? The massive brain of Notion can be thinking all sorts of things, and it's like artificial intelligence. I'm kind of assisting this artificial intelligence, but as I'm using this second brain, the second brain goes, I need to understand something. So I give it a property. I give it a way of understanding it. And all of these properties, these now 18, 20, 20-something properties, will now apply to every possible thing. But here's the cool thing. They're there. They're accessible by every future task. They don't necessarily have to be used by every single task. Okay? So sometimes I'm creating a daily habit. It has nothing to do with a video type. So in that case, I would just leave this unmarked. You see that? But where it does apply, the properties will now guide and direct Notion as a second brain to understand all of these things. And using these properties, this is very important, using these properties will allow me to guide and direct each task where it needs to go. Very cool. Okay, stick with me, okay? Let's keep going. Let's go back to our dashboard and let's talk quickly about the fields and the silos system, okay? And so I've come up with just this, it's really just terminology, fields and silos, okay? A silo is like the largest thing, okay? It's the biggest thing. It's the bucket in which everything for a particular area of my life sits, okay? So you might come down here into Notion and I'll take a look at my silos, okay? I have, for instance, business ideas, courses, finances, mentorship, my mastermind, my church, and stuff with Jesus in my church, my reading list, personal brand. All this stuff takes place in silos, okay? And those silos are actually represented in the properties inside of my master database. So if I click on one, okay, I can kind of zoom out so you can see a little bit better. What does it have to do with? Does it have to do with business, personal brand? Is it a honeydew? Is it something I'm going to do for my wife or my family? A personal or family item? Does it have to do with, I design board games in my spare time? Is it content creation? What is it? I'm going to assign it to a silo. And then within that silo, I'm going to say, okay, it has something to do with YouTube. What is it? Is it an admin thing that I have to do? It's like the category or like the subcategory inside of that massive silo. So is this YouTube thing that I have to do admin, planning, meeting, or video? Is this business thing that I have to do? Is it admin, planning, meeting, video? And if you go, ooh, that feels really limiting, I feel like I would need a couple more categories, add them. This works for me. You add what works for you. That's what you do, right? And so you build your brain. And your brain thinks the way that you need it to think, not necessarily the way that I need it to think, okay? So somebody said, I didn't know you were a Christian. I am a Christian. I love Jesus with all my heart. So if you didn't know that, now you know, okay? I love Jesus, and that's the thing. Got to proclaim that loud and proud. All right. So I also really enjoy using Notion. And so I like using Notion to be this brain and then allow it to think the way I need it to think. So if you build this template the way I'm showing you right now, you download it from my site, whatever, you can customize it any way you want. All right, so let's get in here really quickly and show you. So now you can see that I have this big messy task list, okay? And it's siloed out. I've named each task, and then each one of these is a property. Does it have a due date, right? Is it assigned to me or to somebody else? Do I have an estimated amount of time? I like to estimate my time. Does it have a client it's associated with, right? And I always include a checkbox. And if you're going, how do I make these like properties? Well, you can just come over to the right side of your master task list. You can create a new property. What type of property might we need? Let's just think off the top of our head. Like, what kind of property could we need? I don't know. Let's make a really lame one. Like, is this important or not? How about that? So we're going to create a new property. Let's create a select property, and we're going to add an option. Not important. Okay. And then we'll say yes, and we'll do another one. Is important. Okay. That's not how you spell important. I can't spell today. I can't type or spell. Is important, okay? And then you could say, hey, importance is the name of our property, okay? Now that we have it, look, it's showed up in our master task list. And we can say, hey, creating this video, right? That's a second brain, right? It is important, okay? And then now you're asking yourself, okay, why all these different options? Why all these different properties? This seems overkill. Well, let's do this really quickly. Let's show you where this kind of comes into play. Let's say a few of these are important and a few of these aren't important. And don't worry, I can just delete this whole property after I'm done. And I come over here to my dashboard. Let's just create a new page real quick, shall we? And we'll just say, we'll call this importance, this page, the importance page. Great. All right. And let's open it up, shall we? Let's just work inside this importance page. You can see I have it down here in my private pages. Fine. Okay. Let's give it a little icon, you know, we'll give it a little trophy. That sounds good. Do we want to add a little cover? Sure. Let's add a cover. That's nice. We're building a nice, fun little page here. Here's my goal. I want to get all of the tasks in my brain from my Notion second brain that are important into here. And I only want to see them. That's the thing. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. And here's what I've done on every single one of these: on my YouTube dashboard, on my business dashboard, on my finances, on my journal, everything. Here's how it's done. This is the next big step. Now, remember, we said create the brain, the master task list, give it properties, make sure you have silos and fields, and then whatever other properties you need in it. Those are the steps so far. Here's the next step. We create a page or whatever you want to do, a view. We're going to call this a view in development terms. We're going to type a slash and type in linked database, a linked view of a database. Add an existing database to this page. Yes, this is what we want. Which one do we want? We want that master task list, right? That second brain. We're going to pop it in there and watch. everything is going to pop in, which is messy. Let's go up here to the right hand side and just make it full width so we can see it a little bit better. Let's hide this away. And so I've now just imported, I've aggregated everything in real time over to this new page called importance. And you go, that's not helpful. I could have just went to that ugly brain dump and just seen everything there. Now we get into the real fun stuff, which is filtering and sorting. That's your next step. So here we go. Follow the steps with me. I wish I had a graphic on the screen, but I'm not prepared like that. I'm just really excited. Create the master task list, right? Create the second brain. Okay. Then give that brain the properties that you may possibly start using right now. It's just ways that your brain thinks and where you'll aggregate and shoot content. Okay. Make sure that silos and fields are in there. That's my personal recommendation. After that, you start to use those properties to create new views, right? New pages, new whatevers that you need to see stuff. Link the database, pull in, aggregate, and pull that real-time data inside from your second brain. And now we're going to filter it and sort it. That's the way we're working. Okay. So how do we do that? Well, we just hover over our database. We come in here and we press filter. Okay. It's going to bring up these little filters over here, and it has a couple of rules. So we'll just open that up. Let's just delete all of these right now. I don't know why it's doing this, but that's fine. Let's get rid of these rules. So we have no rules. Everything is in there, right? And currently it's being sorted. So you can see, beautiful. Nothing is being done. So now we can add a filter, and let's do this. Let's say, hey, I want to filter by importance. Okay. And yes, that's filtering. Beautiful. Okay. And I want to, so after, let's filter it again really quickly. Is important and not important. Okay, great. Now we've seen, we're showing only the things that are important, right? We can, and this is a separate view. This doesn't mess up my view. So I can drag columns around and I go, man, this is really, really important. I want to see everything that is and is not important, or maybe just is important. That's a lot easier. You can change the programmatic like logic of it and say, hey, I want to see everything where, how about this one? Where importance is not empty. That's just going to show me everything. It's saying, hey, take everything from that importance property, that part of my brain, and only show me stuff that is at least filled, right? Like that's a way to do it. Or we can go back and say is important. Hey, show me everything that is important. You know what's really interesting is if you use Notion, you're actually kind of learning how to program a little bit. You're making some if-then statements. You are programmatically aggregating data. This is what this is. These are data and databases, right? And so you're kind of learning how to program a little bit. And so now we have everything that is important. Let's also do the not important, just so now that we've filtered, the next thing we want to do is we want to sort. We want to sort by importance. Great. Okay, we've sorted, and now you can see those sortings taking place over here. What do we want? We want it to be ascending. That means it's going to start with important and move its way down to not important, or vice versa, right? So let's do that. We're sorting, and now if you want to sort even more, you can say, hey, let's add another sorting. Let's do it by due date. Okay, and cool, like that. That's good. That's good sorting. I like that. So now let's zoom out here, and you can see what we've created. We've created a page that has now aggregated content in, and our brain can just focus in now on nothing but quote unquote important things. And the moment, like we can create some other filters here, right? Like for instance, let's do another filter here, shall we? Let's add another filter. And how about the done? Like complete. I think we call that one complete. Yes, our little check mark here. All right, we want to make sure it's unchecked. Okay, why did I do that? Because now the moment that I uncheck Notion as a second brain, or excuse me, the moment that I check it, you're going to see it disappear. Why? Because it's only showing the things that are unchecked, the things that are not completed but are have some level of importance. Now here's what's really crazy. We have a view that's set up here, and we can edit this view and just say, let's rename it. Let's rename this view, to do. Great, awesome. Let's add another view, and you know what we could do actually? Let's delete. We don't want that view. Let's duplicate this view. It has all the filters. When you duplicate a view, it has all the filters, all the sorting, everything already applied to it, right? And views, if I'm not being clear enough, are simply that. It's just a way that you view. It doesn't actually destructively modify the data. It's just showing I only want to see certain things, right? It's another way for the brain, the Notion's second brain, to process things. Hey, here's the data, right? Here's how we're filtering it, right? Here's how we're sorting it. And here's the things I want to view. It starts to get very, very small, right? The smaller you want it, the more easy it is to kind of focus on it. So now we'll do not important, right? So we're naming this one not important. Well, why would we do that? Well, because now we can go to our filters and say, hey, we only want to see the things that are not important. Oh my gosh, look, now almost like a Excel spreadsheet, I can flip back and forth between these things. Okay, just like that. And I start controlling what I see and when I see it. Okay, so yes, Schneider said, yeah, Notion really makes my brain run on easy mode. Yes, it does. You know why? Because it's going to offload all the work you do here. It's going to offload it onto Notion, or all the thought process that you have here onto Notion, so that you let Notion do all the thinking. I have about 70 things I need to do every day. I could allow that to happen to me. But with Notion, I say, okay, I need to really aggregate what I see, right? To make sure that things are the most important, to assess which things are important, which things need to happen today, tomorrow, so on and so forth. So speaking of that, if we go to our dashboard, you'll notice that down here I have a task list. This is literally just that linked second brain of Notion. And what I've done is I've said, hey, show me everything, but I want it to be grouped. And this is a function or a feature that Notion has. I want to group it by its property of when it needs to get done: today, tomorrow, everything. You can see if I throw up a week table, this is a different view. Here's the things I need to get done today. Here's the things I need to get done tomorrow. Here's the things I need to get done this week, this month, right? There's some other views I've created. You can have a calendar view. These are just different views, right? And I can see everything on the calendar. Here's more of a Kanban board, which there it is. I can see things doing, done, and to do. Again, where's this doing, done, and to do coming from? It's coming from my master task list. It's nothing more than, and I have a lot of these things hidden, right? It's nothing more than a property inside of my master task list, right? My status or whatever it is. And so all I'm doing is using those. And again, you go oh, how do I know which properties to start with? Start with silos and fields. Like, which area of your life silo does it belong to? And which field do you operate in, right? Admin, like logistics, design, whatever. You assign something there. Start with those. And then as you create tasks, you go, you know what would be really helpful? It'd really be helpful to know if this thing, how important it is, right? And then you create that. So before I ever created our brand new importance feature, which I'll delete this property now, I've actually have a priority feature, right? Why do I have a priority feature? Because in my daily, everything grouped, or sometimes in my week table, I like to see, hey, guess what? These two things are I need to get done today, but this one is way more important than this one, right? So I need all of those things to sort and go to the top. So I just go from the top down. That's what I've done in this view, okay? And so you are controlling how you kind of aggregate this content. And it's always that question people have for me: which properties do I build? The ones that you need right now. Or you can think about it like creating, if you're designers out there, think about it like creating components inside of your Figma document or your Adobe XD document. When do you create a component? Probably after you've made the same button 2 or 3 times. It's probably time to make a component out of it to reuse it. Does that make sense? After you think about something 2 or 3 times, oh man, I wish I was able to gauge how important this is. Make another task. Oh man, I wish I was able to gauge how important this is. That'd be really helpful. Importance property, boom. And now I apply that importance across as many tasks as I can. So that's the way that you're thinking about when to create properties. All right, with that being said, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee and we're going to move into a little question and answer time. All right, this is time for question and answer. Feel free to throw any questions you have right here in the chat. Hey, while we're talking about it, if you want to get more of this question and answer time, more one-on-one time with me, and more community stuff, then you might consider becoming one of my design champions. You can go over to learn.jesseshowalter.com/design champs. This is my personal club, my Personal Design Champions membership club, where you get a community platform access. It's like my own kind of special Patreon. You get a invite to a private Slack, monthly meetups. I do office hours, discounts on all my products like my Notion templates and more. And you get early access to content, and you get more direct access to me. I was just having a chat with some of my members the other day inside of Slack, talking about what they were going through this week. Sometimes we do role play, where I role play as the client and they role play as the designer, and vice versa. So if you're interested in becoming a design champ, then the link is being posted here in the thing. So here in the chat. So let me know if that's something you are interested in. I would love to have you become a design champion. All right, so there it is. All right, we have questions coming in. Hopefully, let's see. It would mean, please, Jesse, can we have that template for tasks? It would mean a lot. Well, you can create it. I mean, literally, I'm going to create it right now. I'll show you how quickly you can create it. But if you want this, you can just, I have the templates for sale, and there's a 50% off code that should be pinned or at the very top of the chat. Let's build it right now, all right? Because I see what you want, and I love you, and I want to help you. Okay, so what we're going to do is create a new workspace, and let's call this workspace, I don't know, let's just name this one Brain, all right? And let's look for an icon, and obviously we'll look for a brain, okay? Let's call this one Second Brain, all right? And what is it going to be? We need to immediately turn it itself must be a database. So this is how you start this process, okay? So I'm going to make it a database, and literally any database you choose is just the view, but a database is a database is a database. Here we go. So we're going to hit table. Boom, we've started a table, right? And we want to say, give me a new database. Here it is. Your Second Brain is now up and running. Got it? Okay. Here's the thing you would do first. You would say, I have this, you're always able to name the task. And now I want to rename this one and make this my silo. Which silo is it in? Okay, let's add an option. Maybe it's design. Maybe it's dev. Maybe it's family. I don't know. So we'll put a couple in there, right? You can color code these if you want to. Beautiful, like that. Love it. And it's a multi-select. We don't want that. Let's make it a firm selection. So now we can say, walk the dog, and that is a family thing or a personal thing. And we say code the website, and that is a dev thing. And design the banner, that is a design thing. Okay, great. So now we have silos, okay? Let's make a new property. And we're going to call this property is not going to be text. It's going to be another selection. And we're going to call this one field. Let's add an option. Admin, creative. How about meeting? I don't know. We'll do another one that's like biz dev. Okay. Like business development. Okay. I don't know. Throw it in there. All right. And maybe we might actually need one more, right? We might need one more. Let's call this, I don't know, health or something, right? That's health to walk the dog. And this is creative and creative. Okay, so now you have your tasks and your silo and your field all set up. Let's add one more. And let's do, I don't know. What else you want to do? Let's do a due date. Let's do that. Ready? Does it have a due date? So we're going to find the date here, and let's go full date, 12 hours. We'll call this one due date. And just like any good database, now it allows us to pick dates on our calendar. Boom, like this. So now we have due dates. I need to walk my dog by July 6th. My dog really needs to go for a walk before then, okay? So now we've built our brain. That's it. If we need to add more properties to our brain, we can add properties to the brain, okay? From the brain, right? Oh, here, what happened to our brain here? Put the brain back in there. Beautiful. From our Second Brain, which is our database, right? We can create new views if we want to. That's fine. I always like to let's do one more property here. We'll call this one complete. and we'll make this one a, ooh, let's try the status. I haven't started the status yet. Oh, it comes with some stock statuses: to do, in progress, and done. Yeah, let's do that. And we'll call this one status. I was gonna do the status. This is a new property that that Notion has added that I haven't played with a whole lot, but it gives you, like, right out of the box some custom properties, right? So let's say I have not started, I'm in progress with this one, and I am done with that one. Okay, fantastic. Now we can create our dashboard if we want to, right? So let's just, right above our tasks here, let's do a thing. Let's go linked view of database. Boom. Which one we're gonna do? Second brain. Bam, it's popped everything in, right? Do we see this? Okay, this is all we're doing here, folks. We're just aggregating content, right? And if we wanted to separate things, if we wanted to say, for instance, that's why I create these little call outs here, because they kind of build these sections, right? So if I wanted to create a little bit more, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get rid of this. Let's delete this real quick. We'll do this. We'll create an entire new dashboard even. Second brain dashboard. Beautiful. We don't want to use a template, okay? But we do want to add like a pretty cover. Fine, let's go. Yeah, that gives me inspiration. That's nice every day. How do we get all this fun stuff that we built here, right? Well, let's skip the habits for now. We'll just go to the tasks and these little areas or whatever. Okay, cool. So let's go to our second brain dashboard and let's do that again. We're going to bring our linked view of a database in here. Second brain. Beautiful. Let's make sure that we're full width here. Awesome. Okay, there it is, right? Let's add a little call out here. That's what I like to do, a call out, and we say tasks. Boom, I move that right up above. And I like to do another call out. I really love call outs. They're just like little ways to like box things. I like to make it like kind of default white color and move everything inside. And then I like to hide this database title like so. And now we have our tasks. If you don't like that little call out above, you can get rid of it if you want. If it's like redundant, fine. There it is. There's your task. They're all boxed in. But maybe you want to be a little bit more specific, and you could say personal tasks. See this? Watch this. Boom. Personal tasks. Let's duplicate this. I just held down Option and drug it down, and then let's put these side by side and make these work tasks. Oh my gosh, we're gonna aggregate some content right now. It's about to get crazy, right? What do we do? You know the answer to this. How do we separate aggregate content? Well, first we bring it in and then we filter it, right? Filter and sort. So let's do that. We'll throw a filter here and we'll say, hey, I only want to see things here that work in the silo of family. And I only want to see things in here that work in the silos of dev and design. Oh my gosh, we're done. Save, save. Now we have two separate task lists. This one has my personal tasks and this one has my work tasks. Let's change this and be like, that's for work. And this one over here is personal. So let's make it like party time. Okay, great. Look at this little dashboard we've already started building, right? Isn't it nice to organize content? Holy cow, it's so nice. Okay, so let's get back to the question and answer time, because that was really the question of how do you build this database? Or somebody said, give us access to this database. I don't think I need to. I think you can either build it, or for a few bucks you could pick it up with all the bells and whistles. These whole dashboards already built. The freelance design dashboard, the personal like kind of like habit and routine and like life tracking dashboard. I have both those for sale on the website. Feel free to grab those or just start building it yourself, because I've given you this live stream. You could do that. Next question. What do you like more, Figma or XD? For me, both of them are beautiful and amazing. I love them. And I've said this before, and I will continue to preach this gospel, which is both those tools are absolutely excellent tools. A tool that is not an excellent tool is Sketch. I hate Sketch. I'm done with Sketch. They are not evolving fast enough. Their features don't fit. It's clunky. It doesn't work the way that designers work. Everything is separated, right? So, I mean, like plugins, widgets, community is all baked into Figma. Community, plugins, features, everything's kind of baked into XD. Sketch, download a plugin, go to a GitHub repo. What this? It's not 2010 anymore. It's 2022, and we need design tools that really stand firm and help us as designers in 2022. So I don't like Sketch, but I do love XD and Figma. For me, they are both absolutely amazing. Love them, love them, love them. I love Notion. I think that's an amazing tool. I think maybe a question somebody might be out there might be asking is, what other tools do you really like besides Notion? I'm going to look around right now and see what other tools I really, really like. What other tools could I not live without? Definitely YouTube. I love YouTube a whole lot. I use like a little, here's one, an icon library tool called Nucleo. This one right here, if it ever loads up, that's a nice one. I use a font managing tool called FontBase. So this is FontBase right here. This allows me to kind of like keep all my fonts organized, quickly, easily sort through them. It's kind of anything that's a database that allows me to sort content. I'm actually a big fan of. Here's Nucleo. I can look at all the icons that I use for projects. I can customize them, favorite them. So it's a nice thing to have. So I like anything that organizes and structures things. Let's see, we have a question or a comment from P. I just switched jobs and they work with Sketch. Now after a month, we completely switched to Figma that I've been using it for the last 4 years for the win. I know. Yeah, I think every company that I talk to, because I do consultation, that's still using Sketch, I encourage them to move off that platform immediately because it is just not benefiting anybody. I think it's a lot more work than it's worth. I think it's like you have to fight the program to do the things you want to do. Okay. All right. So I think that's it for our question and answer time. Thank you so much for those. Hey, if you want to learn more about design, I do also heavily encourage you to check out my 12-week certified Dribbble product design course. I think we've actually turned it into a 16-week certified course, but this course you'll get like design content from me. I do live sessions. It's a 16-week cohort-based product design course where you will learn every aspect of digital product design, from research to wireframing to design to what is product design to testing to empathy mapping, user flow diagrams, development handoff, documentation, all that kind of stuff. You'll learn the product design process, and you get paired with a industry expert, a mentor, who is your mentor through the entire 16 weeks. You get to stay with your smaller cohort with that mentor, get the awesome curriculum, get live sessions with me and other industry experts. I think this cohort, it's already closed. It's already happening. Live sessions with me, Jessica Koh, who was a hiring manager for Google, MDS, who's just like the raddest, most amazing, talented, like product designer dude ever, Dan Mall, Brad Frost, big names in the game, stop by and make cameos and guest appearances during this course. And then when you're done, you get certified and you get plugged into Dribbble's hiring managing network. And so that means that I have students from my last cohort who just got hired at Capital One, at Facebook, at big corporations, at big companies, startups, and are even freelance. I even hired some of the graduates myself to do some freelance work for me. So the hiring network that you get plugged into from Dribbble is absolutely amazing. I encourage you to go over, check it out, dribbble.com/learn, and you'll see my product design course there. Super, super big deal, super helpful if you're looking for it. But if that's too much for you, if maybe that's not your vibe, then you might want to consider, I have another option for you. Coming up in August, I'm doing a workshop called Become a Freelance UI UX Designer. And this workshop is 2 hours where you get to sit down with me live for 2 hours. And I will teach you all the strategies, the tips, and the tricks about being not just a freelancer, not a freelance web designer, but a freelance UI UX designer, somebody that makes mobile apps and web applications. That's a very different vibe if you want to freelance in that industry, and I do that on a daily basis. And so if you want to, you can go over to learn.jesseshowalter.com and you can learn more about this. You're going to get a 2-hour live session. You actually get all of my templates, my Notion templates, my contracts, proposals for free. You get all of that included. You get question and answer time where you get to jump on stage with me, super duper fun. And we're going to learn about finding clients, proposals, contracts, how much to charge. I'm going to show you my 6-step process for how I walk clients and projects from start to finish, how to send off deliverables, and I have a bunch of information here for you. So go over to learn.jesseshowalter.com. It's where you can find all the stuff on how to interact with me. That's where you can find things about workshops like this. I have free courses over there. I have some free things you could download, my newsletter you could sign up, and you can always become a design champion. So make sure you think about that. Hey, let's talk just a little bit more about Notion. I feel like we've covered an absolute ton. If you want to become a Notion power user, Fish in Tokyo says, any web design courses? I may or may not have a web design course coming out in the future. It's further on down the roadmap because I'm hyper focused on mobile and web applications and designing those things, those items. So I really want to encourage and empower people to design those, because I think you can make a ton of money, do amazing work, and live a really amazing rad freelance life if you do that. So web design definitely coming though, for sure, because I do web design as well. So okay, cool, let's jump back into Notion. We'll talk about one last little thing that I think is pretty fun, and it's my weekly habit tracker, which I think is really fun. It's going to be a very similar process. Guess what I did to make a weekly habit tracker, right? I have basically a database, right? A goal tracking database. Here is my goal tracking database. And you can see it right over here. And when I come into my dashboard, I have just linked that database here. And I have a couple of cards set up that are the things that I want to do every day or every week, right? And each one of these has how many days a week I want to do it, a little motivational message, and the chance for me to tick off these little boxes when I have completed them. And as I tick off these little boxes, like for instance here, it will change. So like if I want to be inbox 0 3 days a week and I'm not quite there, 1 2 3, whoa, let's come back and turn it on. Boom, my goal has been reached. Okay, so how did I set this up? Because it's really nice. It has the date that I need to do it, and when I'm done with this, I can actually just move this into my habit archive. I can go back and look at the archive, which I've actually just recently gone in there and cleared those out, but you can see my habits from previous months. And then I can create a new habit week simply by clicking this little template button. It pops it out just like that, and I can move it into place. Boom. So how did I create this? Well, it's a database, right? If we click into the database, actually, let's open it up as a full page. It's literally just a database, and it has each one of these tasks, and these tasks have a bunch of properties, right? And I have properties of checkboxes that are 1 through 7. I have that goal, and I did create, there's a little bit of a coded formula in here that allows me to add those messages in, right? So we've coded a formula there, another coded formula there to calculate like when I'm doing or how many days I'm accomplishing my goal. So you don't have to worry about that. I'm actually going to release this pretty soon so people can have this. But what I've done is just set up each one of those cards, and I've come to my properties here, and I've decided which things to show. Like for instance, I should probably show day 6 and 7 on my cards and have those below my weekly status. Now my cards have all possible 7 days of the week. Beautiful. Now when I go back to my dashboard, look, there it is. And what I've done is I've created that database one time, right? And that database is actually just flying out here, sitting right here. And then I've created a template button, which you can do by pressing plus and typing in template. You're allowed to create a new template button that will duplicate blocks within like a single click. So all I have to do, you'll see when I open up this little gear for my template button, what's inside of this template? Well, let's scroll down and see. Oh, look, it's a new database that's being created every single time, right? And it has all of those elements inside. So we can come into our database really quickly, and we can make those changes that we made last time, right? So let's come in here and hit properties. We need 6 and 7 to be visible. Bingo. Now we're working inside of that. Whatchamacallit, that template. So next time I use that new habit week to create it. I did that work inside. So anything you change inside of here, we want to add a new habit, you want to remove a habit, it will just pop up every single time. So now I have a system where I can do that each and every time. So I created a little habit tracker. That's fun. You could do it a lot of simple, like different ways. I also have a table view. This is kind of nice sometimes to see, hey, here they all are in more of a table view. I can kind of click them off as I go, which is kind of nice. So there is that as well. And that is a lot. There's a whole lot about Notion right there that maybe you never knew and you weren't using Notion. But this is how I use Notion as a second brain, right? Again, keep that in mind. put all that brain dump into a master task list, create the properties that are associated with how you want your brain to work, and then aggregate that content out onto separate pages and separate views, filter it, sort it, love it, live it, enjoy it. That is the Notion madness, hotness. All right, we got a couple questions coming in. Let's move back into question and answer time. Artemis Faye says, hey, I just wanted to say thank you for your videos. They helped me so much as I was learning UX, and I just signed up for my first UX job. Yes, Artemis Faye, that is what we are talking about. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Thank you so much for, I'm glad any content or anything I create or put out there into the world helps you, encourages you, or just helps you get after those goals and those dreams of yours. That's amazing, okay? Vagabond Massalini says, should I learn XD or Figma, or it depends? I'm new at design. I'm just familiar with Photoshop. Hey, I would say I love both those platforms. I think they're amazing. I'm about to sneeze, and I think it's because somebody, that's a live stream sneeze right there. I think I love sneezing on live stream. It's the worst thing ever. The only reason I would say learn Adobe XD is because you're already using Photoshop. If you're already using Photoshop and you're tied into the Adobe Creative Cloud platform, then using XD is a very seamless transition, right? It feels really native. You're very used to it. And you have that whole kind of like integration between the rest of the Adobe Creative Cloud, which I think is great. Vagabond said, bless you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you for your kindness and for your politeness. So hashtag bring back politeness. Here we go. So yeah, I think if you're already using Photoshop, if you're really used to that, the easiest transition is to go to XD. You are going to love it. It's mind-blowing. It's an amazing software for you to design applications, mobile and web applications, websites. All of it's really, really good. You know, I love Figma. I love XD, so choose whichever one. But I would say to all of you that are already tied into one platform, don't go out and learn a separate platform for something if you can house it all together. Adobe's got it going on. I mean, I love Adobe. I'll use Illustrator in conjunction with Photoshop, move over to XD, do some Adobe Dimension 3D stuff, pull that back into my XD project, launch an amazing website. Oh, I need some really like custom like images back into Photoshop. Boom. It's all tied in my CC library. All that stuff is pretty amazing. Yeah, you can do Figma as well. It's up to you. That's just my recommendation. You do you, boo, and I'll do me. Everybody got their own thing going on, which is great. All right. Any other questions, let me know. Again, remember that you can become, if you'd like to, a design champion. You can ask way more of these questions in our private Slack channel, in our office hours, and our monthly meetups. So definitely, you know, if you'd like to become a design champion, I would love to have you become a design champion. It's literally the price of a cup of coffee every month. For the price of one cup of coffee, you become a design champion. So think about that. Also, like we already said, I do have my Dribbble course going on, which is super duper fun. And oh yeah, we already talked about Design Champs. That's it. The last thing I would say is, hey, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a little thumbs up, hit that little bell notification icon, so you know when more live streams like this one are happening. You'll get an email notification. Jump right on the live stream with me. Ask your questions. Get involved, get connected with me. You can always find me on Instagram and Twitter. I am Jesse Show. I hope you guys are having an amazing week, and that is pretty much it for our stream. I hope you guys are having an awesome week. I hope you're gonna have an awesome weekend, and I hope that you are offloading all of your amazing thoughts onto other programs that can be a second brain for you, that can automate things, make your life easier, work smarter, not harder, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.